The 975 Ultramarine darts range from the Target 2023 launch is here. I'm Jen Mounts with AtoZDarts.com, and I'll be doing an in-depth review of the soft tip and steel tip variations, plus an unboxing of both types. This is their high-end 97.5% tungsten range, hence the name 975, and the theme is a stunning ultramarine deep blue color. There are 4 total options available: steel tips 01 through 03 models and a soft tip number 10 model, with multiple barrel weights for each option, and the common themes that they all share are a black fragmented wavy grip pattern inspired by the rear half of the Elysian 7th edition barrels, and a silver slash centerpiece made with Nano cut. All 975s are fitted with a brand new K-Flex molded flight and shaft one-piece system, plus they come in a beautiful presentation box filled with additional accessories. Let's start by comparing the steel tip 01 model and the soft tip 10 model, since they're essentially the same. They're both a straight barrel shape with consistent diameter throughout, but the soft tip version is noticeably shorter in length than the steel tip 01, and it has a slightly skinnier diameter. Starting in the rear, we're going to discover that first silver slash section. As you rotate the barrel around, you're going to reveal more and more of those little radial grooves. The silver section itself is an extremely micro nano cut, similar to the nano Swiss points that these steel tip barrels are fitted with. No one has done that slash concept before, so that's definitely new to us. Then we move on to that Elysian 7 inspired wavy grip pattern. It's important to note that the 975 Ultramarine wavy grip is far more aggressive than the Elysian 7. Let's throw that into the mix so we have a comparison here. The original Elysian 7 has a lot more milling going on. It's generally just a lot softer edges that are within this wavy grip pattern, whereas in the 975 Ultramarine, it's a lot more of a rough cut, so it's more just stylistically the same, but in terms of the actual milling and the way that it feels, it's far more aggressive. We repeat a larger slash here in the middle, and then we finish with a longer section of that sculpted wavy pattern throughout the rest of the front of the barrel, and of course one final little piece of that nano cut slash. We rate the entire 975 Ultramarine range a grip intensity of 5 out of 5. This sculptured wavy section is extremely aggressive, so even though you have the silver nano slash, it's not going to have an overall effect on the grip, because we give it more like a 3.5 or 4 out of 5, but depending on where you're rotating the dart and where you're placing your grip, you're going to reveal those middle radial grooves around the slash, so you're just not guaranteed to have the same placement. Let's invite steel tip model 02 and 03 to the party so we can see these various shape options. We already covered the 01 model is a straight barrel, but moving on to the 02, we've got more of a front-loaded with a little bit of a cone front end nose. The rear diameter of this 23-gram example is about 6 millimeters, whereas the front end is closer to 7 millimeters, achieving that subtle front-loaded barrel shape. And then finally, 03 model offers a torpedo-esque shape throughout the whole thing. It's got more of a tapered nose, so a little bit opposite of the 02, and all 3 steel tip variations have the same length, and they're fitted with the nano Swiss point. I think I'm most excited to throw the 03 torpedo shape. To summarize, the only difference between these variations is the barrel shape, and then you've got slight variation with the soft tip being kind of shorter, and then little differences on diameter. So your soft tip 10, your steel tip 01 are your straight barrel option, the steel tip 02 is that cone nose front loaded option, and then the 03 is that torpedo-esque shape with a little bit of a taper in the front. So I'll be shooting all 4 variations, and I'll give you guys some final thoughts on the design, grip, everything. Then we'll end the video with an unboxing of the 975s. Shooting the 18-gram soft tip model 10 darts first. Start with some 20s. And note that I've swapped out the K-Flex flights to the ones that I've just been shooting with recently. So that's why you see black short K-Flex flights instead of the blue ones that come with the set right now. Let's do one more round of 20s. Ooh. Dang it. Trying so hard to not unnecessarily beat these up. My plan so far is to not be fussy about where I grip the barrel, which turns out I'm gripping only in that wavy sculptured pattern. Oof, not bad. I gotta be honest, I was nervous about the slash shape of the Nano cut, but for me, I don't particularly grip there enough to where it matters, and I don't think it actually feels all that different if you do grip in that section. Honestly, I'm really surprised I can shoot as well as I can with these, because typically really aggressive barrels I do not do well with, and I have pretty smooth hands, so I like a grip intensity of more like 3 out of 5. Let me try one last round, and it'll probably be terrible, but I'm going to hold right in the middle where that nano cut slash is. Sorry, I have to like think about it to be able to grip there. Okay, so I was trying not to be fussy and worry like exactly where on the slash am I gripping. I was just telling myself grip in the middle. And I did feel the difference of when you reveal more of those micro grooves, the radial grooves that are past the nano cut. So I don't know, I've never been a center gripper myself. I'm not gripping so far into the rear or the front where I'm touching those sections as well. I'd be really curious to see the average person if it's something that it bothers them or doesn't. But obviously, grip intensity regardless throughout the whole barrel is great, 97.5% tungsten. Just the flight pattern that I'm achieving with these straight barrels is like pretty decent. It feels good in and out of the hand, so I'm quite surprised. This is the Steel Tip 01 model, and I'm shooting the 22-gram barrel. Just gonna get 3 practice darts in really quick. Nice. The only thing I'm curious about is if the overall length of the Steel Tip 1 being longer than the 10, is that going to affect the flight pattern and the way it lands on the board? So let's hold in the very middle into the nano cut and see if that changes anything. Wow. Definitely lands a lot flatter. Surprisingly flew a little better in my opinion. I swapped out for the Steel Tip 02 now. We've got a little bit of a front-loaded barrel, so I'm definitely going to hold at least in the middle, if not even closer to the front, and see how that goes. Ooh. Oh, terrible. That's a good correction. Honestly, I attribute that wayward dart to my mechanics I just released early. It was a bad throw. But I will say it probably would take me a lot of time to get used to holding the middle, even though that's probably the best place for me to hold on all of the darts, where I feel the weight of the dart in my hand. It's most balanced that way. So let's just try one last round holding all the way in the front, which is going to be rough for me. Definitely more of a downward angle now of where my dart impacts the board. Swapping out for the Steel Tip 03, we've got our torpedo-esque shape and a little bit of a taper towards the front, so I'm super stoked for this because this more fits my grip style and my throwing style. As you can see, the front-loaded barrels really just aren't for me. I'm not able to get that straight or a little bit of upward angle impacting a steel tip dartboard with front-loaded barrels. So that's just my personal preference for my throwing mechanics. Let's give this a shot. Man, they really just glide out of your hands. This is definitely my fan favorite. Call it the Gen Mounts pick, the Model 03. So let's try to do a 121 checkout. 20, go for a trip 17. Single 17, back to 20. We got it. 97 scored, leaving 24. Double 12 for the win. Yes, first try, which is always such a relief. All right, some final thoughts for all of the variations that we saw today. The 975 Ultramarine darts are incredibly high-end for a reason. The milling especially, in that wavy grip pattern, that's where you're getting the bang for your buck. Incredibly aggressive. I mean, regardless of whether you're moving your hands up and down, left and right, coiling the dart, if you have a coil, you're gonna feel tons of bite all around throughout the entire barrel. So that's always interesting when cuts and milling create that kind of an aspect for you. The honest opinion that I have about the slash centerpiece, it is potentially problematic. It really depends on the player's throwing style. If they have a certain grip reference point right in those areas. As I was throwing, holding in the middle, it didn't bother me so much so to where I'm having crazy deviations of my overall performance. And it's something that as long as I practiced with it, I would probably get used to it. It is unique. And perhaps someone could get into the habit of gripping in the exact same place every time. I'm not sure if I could ever figure that out for myself, but it's just something to consider. So let's finish off with an unboxing and review of the 975 presentation box. This is our presentation box for the Ultramarine 975. We're going to flip it around to get to the inside. Open up to the left first. You're going to immediately see that exclusive Tacoma wallet. There's a neat info booklet this year that kind of resembles like paint swatches. You just flip that out to learn a little bit more about the inspiration behind this barrel design. Past the foam section to the left, you're going to discover the barrels, and past the Tacoma case, you'll discover we've got a premium Swiss key, a chain to go with that, and 2 extra sets of conversion points. The soft tip darts have the typical black pixel tips, but a unique upgrade to this box is you actually have 2 extra sets of conversion points, a 26mm and the longer 30mm titanium Nano Swiss conversion points. And finally, an exclusive 975 Ultramarine target pin. The only difference in the steel tip set is you're going to see that the darts come fitted with a 30mm silver Nano Swiss point, and instead of conversion points, since it's not a soft tip barrel, we've got 2 extra sets of Swiss points. So these are both 26mm Nano silver and black Swiss points. That concludes the breakdown and unboxing of the Target 975 Ultramarine range. You can purchase these darts on our website, a2zdarts.com. Just look for the links in the description. Hope you enjoyed this review and the rest of the 2023 launch. Thanks for watching.